Hey, listen, I'm back. I had to do a part two to the first video because there's so much, it was so much more information I wanted to get in. But I realized, I don't, people's attention spans is short and I was running up on 12 minutes. So I wanted to do a part two video. So I don't know, maybe I could just did it in one because this may go 12 minutes too, which would have been an additional, which would have made the total like 20 minutes, but whatever. So I broke it up, so I'm here for part two on my awakening. So as I said in part one, I went over the technique on stop, pause, and assess before I responded. But my anger was so deep and was such a part of who I was that it wasn't just that. It wasn't just that technique that we use. See, I don't know if you've been to therapy or not, but it's not a lot the therapist doesn't really do a lot of talking, right? So Bailey I was the one talking. If you have a therapist that's good, you would be the one mainly doing the work, right? Talking. She would just ask you I guess open-ended questions and then for you to talk, right? Okay. So in working in my healing work on my anger, I would give her situations because I have my notes here. So I gotta look how this is from. I started in 2011. Now I don't want you guys to get freaked out real quick. I know I'm jumping, but from 2011 to 2021, I was seeing a therapist for the first year or two once a week, and then we shifted to every other week, and then eventually I stopped going for about 6 months to almost a year. So this process of me going to therapy was off and on. So it wasn't a continual 10-year run or 11-year run now. A 10-year run. So it was like I was discharged and then I was always free to come back if some more stuff came up. So anyway, so going back to the anger and the process, right? So I would present to her situation as I'm going through my notes. I'm like, oh wow, I forgot, I had said this, or this was happening in my life at that time. And at that time I was dating someone, and as I'm reading through my notes, a lot of my sessions was spent talking about the relationship I had and then also the relationship with my parents. So it's twofold. So there are two factors that I'm working with at the same time. So one was the relationship, and then two was the relationship with my parents, my mom and my dad, and how to navigate that and how to, shift that. But what I want to talk about in this video is the relationship piece with the guy I was seeing at the time. And that was not a good relationship because we both was messed up and we both had issues. He was needy and immature in a lot of ways, and I was just mean and angry. I wasn't a nice person. So we didn't need to be together anyway. So thank God that didn't work out. That eventually came out and it ended. So one of the things that she would do is she would ask me probing questions or ask me open-ended questions. So I would present to her a situation and she would tell me, okay, tell me about it. And then she would say, well, what do you think your role was in that situation, and how could you have responded differently? And she would also say to me, she would have me think about the way that I responded. Like she would say, well, why did you respond that way? What were you feeling in that moment? And like I said, a lot of times my reactions and emotions were based off of situation that I had went through previously that had nothing to do with the current situation that I was in. However, it was my emotions was basically running my life, and I wasn't aware of it. So the process of stopping and pausing and assessing allowed me to really think about, okay, Linda, what am I feeling right now in this time, in this moment? Is this something, am I feeling this something now? What's happening now is I'm feeling it now, or is it something, or is it triggering something in my past, right? So those are the type of questions that she would pose to me, and it allowed my brain to really think about and say, hey, wait a minute, hold up, let's take a look at this. Let's just see where this is coming from. Because like I said, a lot of times I would always overreact to situation and make it bigger and blow it up more than what it was warranted. And that wasn't good at all. That wasn't good at all. So yeah, so as I am, just going through the notes and thinking about it, it's like, wow, yeah, this is also important to know too, and to get out there. I want to let you guys know, because that's an important part. We have to ask ourselves questions, or if you have somebody in your life that is a little unbiased, and that you can trust, ask them pose to them the situation and ask them if your response was appropriate for that response. Now, if they are emotionally mature enough, they should give you a nice, positive answer. But I will also implore you to speak to someone of a professional, whether they're a social worker or a psychologist, a counselor, a therapist, somebody, because you want to make sure that you are getting a unbiased, clean, and appropriate response for your current situation. So yes, this healing stuff, man, is something to it. It's deep. And like I said, it's work. It's not easy. It's not going to come overnight. But trust me, it's so worth it. You just have to commit yourself to the work and show up for yourself. So this is my part 2 to my awakening that I wanted to make sure that I get out to you guys. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Love you.